We have the little Yugi special for you today. This deck looks absolutely amazing. We have some Gate Guardian and Evil Eye along with some other very interesting meta. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more OS content. I think this is probably one of the coolest decks I've had the chance to actually see this weekend. It is basically little Yugi's basic Dark Magician deck, but we're putting in, of course, Toy Soldier and Toy Tank here to be able to feed off of the toy box here to get us, you can guess it, some little free advantage off of the Magician Souls here. So you can start feeding on into the advantage engine that this deck kind of wants to see. This is actually kind of cool. Now remember, if these are basically sent to the graveyard while set, they get the ability to special summon themselves, and then you can start to get some little free extra value off of them. I don't know, I'm genuinely impressed that somebody basically took the Yugi pile and said, hey, we're going to go ahead, we're going to evolve it with the toy box stuff. And I never really had considered, trying out these cards in here, even though it should have been pretty obvious, the free advantage train you could get. This build is also sporting off the Barrier Statue of the Heavens. You gotta love the free value that this card also kind of gives you in this deck. Also, you would think that you'd be like, well, you're playing a Dark Magician deck. Why would you want to play a Barrier Statue of Light? Well, the Barrier Statue of Light, I mean, you could try to play the dark one, but you want to make sure that basically you're able to kind of rotate under this and be able to still play the game, obviously, with these two. So if you do have the Barrier Statue up and you have an Ecclesia into the Fleur-de-Lis, you'll still be able to use the Fleur-de-Lis like as a little bit of a defensive option to kind of help you out, since you can still special summon and work underneath the light attribute. Outside of that, little interesting things here. We're actually playing double Secret Village, which is kind of a lot, but I do like the idea that we're able to do this. Of course, you're still going to be playing one skill drain. You gotta love having that card actually pop up when it needs to. And we're actually playing Ogres down here for some little extra defensive value for this deck. But outside of that, I think this is one of the coolest decks that I've actually had the chance to see. So good stuff. Oh, we have Gate Guardian. Now, the first, well, about as much of a Gate Guardian deck as you're really going to come across here. I mean, you're packing in one of each of the pieces, which is pretty normal. I do see that we are doing Armageddon Knight in here as well. So basically, your whole point of this deck is turbo down what you can for your value. Drop Zephyros the Elite so you can set up. Actually, this extra deck is friggin' hilarious because we're using this to be able to toggle for the Nemesis flag in here. Okay, this also gets us access. You're telling me that Gate Guardian has access to Colossus by being able to recycle these little pieces along the way? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. Do keep in mind that we are citing the Dark Guardian down here. We are actually playing Extranet down here as well, which is, this is kind of interesting. I also see that we have power filters for Ubel. We're not trying to lose to that. And we also have Draco, Utopia, and Auras as well. If you had to ask me, would we be seeing an optimized version of, Gate Guardian anytime soon? I would have told you straight up, no, you wouldn't be. But somebody perfected it. I gotta clap for it. This is so cool to see Gate Guardians actually being a potential tier 1 deck and looking at this. Okay. Oh, hello, Evil Eye. Now this is, I know somebody's gonna look at this and be like, wow, you're really just putting Imseti in this deck and you're just kind of calling it a day. I mean, yeah, the Horus package is an absolutely god tier push for this deck. Most of the time when I looked at this deck in the past, it's always been there can only be one turbo. You're trying to use those floodgates, make sure that you can win the game. Like, unfortunately, Evil Eye doesn't have a great amount of things kind of going for it, unfortunately. Surziel locking itself up with the Gorgon, or Evil Eye Salim, kind of make sure you could get that value. It's kind of like the biggest things you could do. Now, with this build, I mean, we do have the Zeus Turbo Machine as need be down here. We are also packing in Zerziels and the Gorgon Empress here as well. So you do have your standard climbing potential all built into the deck. And I do see, we're side decking the skill drain. We're actually side decking the retribution as well. And you are packing in a giga crap ton of your hand traps down here as well. So typically, I mean, most of this stuff is going to be good filtering options, especially, when you got to start setting up with the Evil Eye Unleashed so you can start doing things. Just don't burn too many life points. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. I've seen too many duelists just shut themselves out of the game on the random RNG. You know, this is by far one of the second most interesting decks. The Gate Guardian deck has my interest. That's so cool. Alright, so this is the definition of the Yubel abuse that we've been talking about. One of the biggest things we saw the OCG doing the minute the Phantom of Yubel came out was you're basically splashing, hey look, it's 5 cards. Look, 3 Nightmare Thrones, a Yubel, and a Spirit of Yubel. OMG. All of this just to be able to make essentially the Phantom of Yubel, and then after Yubel pops itself off, oh, congratulations, we pop the Spirit of Yubel, we get to bring out a free Yubel, and you're basically sitting on this monster line that your opponent has a very big issue with trying to handle out here. Now, you're also still doing the rest of the synchro plays that Centurion kind of bring to the table here. I do see we are setting a Prohibition. You have the Deltas and the Gammas, easy stuff. Do have the Prohibition here, and the rest of this gas slot down here is just everything that you need to do for your deck to go burr. Yeah, that's, I think I truly gave you the best experience for this deck. Alright, we have some ninjas for you today. This is one of those cases that you kind of look at ninjas, and as much as we want this deck to be good, it still does have its own issues. I do see this deck is choosing not to play any of the green ninja. Have we finally gotten to the point that the green ninja just is not a super good choice for this deck? I also see that we are playing the triple Book of Moon. I also am pretty sure a lot of these builds try to side deck the triple Book of Eclipse or whatever, just to make sure, you know, they can get a free board down. It's also interesting that they actually chose to play 1 Lightning Storm, not 2 Lightning Storms, not anything else for gas value. They just were like, one Lightning Storm. I mean, I guess. We're also only playing 1 Hidden Village here. We are playing 1 copy of the Tenchi Kaime. This is still one of the best looking, like, cards actually Yu-Gi-Oh! Has going for it. And only 1 Mirage Transformation. We're also only playing 1 Duplication. I swear Duplication is one of the better cards you can actually have in your deck as a ninja player, being able to, you know, unload those larger monsters. But your extra deck, you get some interesting choices. You do see an Emerald down here. We're not playing any of the bigger turbo options, but still unloading with this. It feels like this extra deck was designed to play extra, but of course they're not actually doing it. And there's the little insect friend. Interesting choices down here for our ninja duelist. Alright. Oh man, Skull frickin' Servants. Now, the first interesting I'm going to tell you about this list, just looking at this, is there's no Light Sworn cards in here to like turbo. You are playing obviously 1 White Sworn, but most of these builds that I've seen come across the table for people trying out this deck, you know, they're usually trying more turbo-esque options with the Light Sworn stuff to create the mill scenarios that you want to see. I do see though that we're more of an zombie base, which is fine. You know, being able to have Mazara, you're actually playing the Jocko Blonde in here as well. And then, of course, you know, you're getting your more advantage, I would say, off of like the Unizombie side of things. And of course, this is kind of interesting. This build's actually playing a Rainbow Bridge of Salvation in here. You do have a very wide range of field spells that you can access. Maybe, you know, if you need to get to the zombie world without getting to the Necro Banshee, or you do need to see the Imperial Tombs here to get your Horus package going, you have plenty of options available to you to kind of see what you want to do with those key lines of play. So that's actually kind of cool. So good stuff to actually seeing this deck do good. And our last list here is Whimgy. It is True Draco. I really wish that we'd be able to play something like this. This really would make the difference here. One interesting side deck option, they're actually playing the spell card Soul Exchange down here. Remember, immediate electric effect resolves, you can tribute summon 1 monster, and if you do, it cannot be tributed this turn. And when you do, you can tribute a monster or monsters your opponent controls, even though you do not control them. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, activate this effect. Your opponent can apply the previous effect, but you know they're not going to be able to tribute your stuff because you know, you already did your tribute stuff. So, good stuff. But that's why, I mean, you just kind of slow roll on the big monsters, rely on your floodgates here to kind of do the thing. And of course, the True King's Return for all of your revival options. This deck is kind of stupid, but that's why we love it, right? That's why True Draco is one of the better, interesting old stun decks. So what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons! Thank you! Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.